Hey everyone, it's Nova Scotia Thomas here. So a short while ago, I was able to go to visit the alleged crash site of the Shag Harbour UFO incident. Now, and not only that, I was able shortly afterwards go to the museum just down the road. Now, this is going to be a video about the museum, but this is going to be a video about the museum, not so much the crash site. I already have some video about the crash site that by the time I put this video up, should already be up. Uh, it's not very long, but it does show you the location. Show you the location, and I apologize that it's not very long. I was with other people. I was on a trip with some other people, so we didn't want to take too long. I didn't want to take too long, and I also there were other people at the museum as well, and I don't really like recording other people without their permission for obvious reasons. But yeah, so I just want to share my experiences of what I thought about the UFO Museum. So one of the things about the Shag Harbour Museum that it's good to know if you want to visit. Um, it's not right next to the Shag. It is not. Emphasis on not right next to the alleged crash site. Now the alleged crash site is, even if you're not interested in UFO stuff at all, it is a beautiful spot right by the ocean. So it's definitely worth a visit, even if you don't care about UFOs at all. Just think it's silly nonsense and just want to drive by. Don't. Um, it's a beautiful spot by the sea, great place to have a picnic. But if you want to see the museum, you're going to have to go about 2 minutes up the road. When you see this Shag Harbour Museum, it's a it's a small yellow building, and you have to look for it. We almost drove right by it. They realized, hey, that's the museum. So yeah, um, Anyway, the museum admittance fee was about $5. Pretty not too unreasonable. And the things you get in and the things you get find in a museum are what you would expect for UFO museum. Now, uh, I'm sure everyone's wondering what they were expecting to find at a UFO museum. Um, you don't really get things like UFO parts of UFOs. Let's be honest, I think everyone here will get that, even if you do believe in UFOs. I personally don't. I'm kind of a skeptic. But if you do, like anything that you get from a UFO, anything you get with a UFO will anything from a UFO would be confiscated by the government. That being said, I study history. One of the things as a historian that so they aren't that they did have that would be an interest to me as a historian would be newspaper clippings of what witnesses saw, and maybe and declassified documents about what the government said it was. And they have copies of that there. So if I were as a historian, if I did want to study this, those would be the things I would be interested in anyway. If you're not really interested in studying this, you'd probably be disappointed in them. You'd be interested in the more of the artifacts, which quote unquote artifacts would be artwork. Which, by the way, they don't try to. By the way, I wouldn't. It's not. Which, by the way, they don't try to pass off the artwork as definitely authentic replicas. No, they admit it's like a lot of alien themed Shag Harbour artwork, and they just have some displays explaining what people saw there. And the guy who runs it is actually a witness, is a first-hand witness himself. I believe seeing another YouTube video. I think I'll even provide a link to it because it's better than the stuff I'm making right now. If I'm going to be honest with you, hopefully I'll get better. But yeah, apparently, he said he at first didn't think it was UFO. He thought it was a plane, but he realized later on planes don't go that slow. Um, so anyway, yeah, it was. I personally would, if you're interested in UFOs at all, um, the museum is worth a visit if you were interested in UFOs and stuff like that. Um, you have witnesses, and they actually do have some. They do actually have tours and events in October each year on the anniversary of the incident. So this year it's going to be on second on the second at 9 a.m. Of October this year, and they're going to and they'll visit the crash site on the coast guard. They'll have we'll have some footage of some video footage later on that's kind of suspicious about with an unidentified object in 2018. Um, and I'll visit CFB Baquero and CFS Shelburne. So yeah, some of the sites, by the way, on this are really good. So one of the things, and I learned this on another YouTube video. I have to admit, I haven't been there myself. I do want to. I'm actually thinking of maybe not this year. Depends on what other commitments I have. I don't just make YouTube videos. I have other places I have to be. But if I, at some point, I would love to make some video YouTube videos of that tour. And yeah. So anyway, speaking of CFS Shelburne and the CFB locations, I do want to talk about what I think probably it was. And again, this is from another YouTube video of a guy who was there. Again, I'm going to put the link in the description. I personally think he actually made a. I saw another guy on YouTube. He made a really good case that thinks it probably wasn't an alien spacecraft. It was probably a top secret government project. Because apparently those bases there, those bases were those bases were absolutely they were definitely secret bases in that area, used to monitor potential Soviet subs in that area during the Cold War. This was in the 1960s, so kind of at the height of the Cold War. So yeah, so if the Canadian, so if the Canadian and U.S. governments were working on a top secret project, they would want to keep it classified. I think the guy who was there, he said he was in the military himself. And this is in the other YouTube video. I'm just repeating it. But I think he just made a good case that if it was a UFO and it wasn't already top secret, by the time they made it top secret, word would have gotten out anyway, because everyone talks on a ship. If it was top secret, people would have been more likely to keep their mouths shut, and that's why things were confiscated. That's why everything was denied. It wasn't because it was a UFO. It was because it was probably top secret government research going on there. Still, the Canadian government, apparently there are documents say the Canadian government officially does not know what it was, and apparently they investigated the site. Nothing was found. So again, I don't know what happened there. People definitely saw things. There's multiple witnesses that something was in the sky. Weather phenomenon, alien spacecraft, or top secret government project. I really don't know. Again, I'd like to go there again. I was only there briefly. I was just passing through, just thought I'd take a look in. But yeah, I would love to go, and I'd love to go to one of these tours sometime myself, hear about it again, and just see what it is. So anyway, if you're in the Shag Harbour area, by the way, it is I definitely think it's worth a visit if you're interested in UFOs at all, or interested in anything weird or conspiracy theories, anything like that. And I also found the people who worked there, incredibly honest about what they saw. They didn't say, "Oh, it was they weren't." No one was trying to pass off like a piece of dirt as Earth from an alien world or anything like that. It was just a lot of artwork, models of what they imagined it would have looked like, and they personally thought it may have looked like. And a lot of serious accounts from newspaper clippings and testimonials of people, what they saw, what they thought at the time. And again, it was all incredibly honest. My impression very much was that these are honest people. The guy has a very thick rural accent that talk like this, and like for the first 10 seconds, you think he's a crazy old crank, but when we actually start speaking with him about what he saw and what he thought about it, this guy is actually very down to earth, very honest. I got it. I found he had quite a bit of integrity about what he thought he saw. He wasn't sure. He admits that I don't think it was alien. I'm not sure if it was an alien spacecraft. We just don't know. Hence, a UFO, unidentified flying object. That's what it means. So, the UFO Museum, if you're really not into that thing, it may be something you want to drive by, to be entirely fair. Though even if you're not interested in UFOs at all, the alleged crash site is well worth it. It is actually a park with a gazebo, and because the crash site was actually out in the ocean, so it's more of like a look off out into the ocean. So it's in Nova Scotia's ocean scenery is beautiful regardless by the sea. So it's definitely worth a stop regardless. The Shag Harbour Museum, $5 to get in, pretty affordable, pretty reasonable. So yeah. Anyway, hopefully I'll go there again, revisit the site, make some more videos about Nova Scotia's Roswell, and maybe even get some video footage of the secret military bases, which are, by the way, are now, I'm not sure if they are open to public, but they are declassified, so we know where they are, and you can at least arrange to get in. Though I don't think they're public parks, and from what I understand, it's quite abandoned, and so I wouldn't go there on my own, because I have seen other footage of the site, and yeah, be careful with it. So yeah, so anyway, those are my thoughts. Visiting the Shag Harbour UFO Museum. If you like UFOs, it's worth it. If you like UFOs and you're not demanding and expecting to see actual pieces of alien spacecraft and alien technology, and you actually have reasonable expectations, like it's going to be like newspaper clippings and alien themed artwork about what people thought the craft what was in the sky may have looked like. If you have reasonable expectations, it's well worth it. It's well worth it. The people there do seem to have integrity. They believe what they saw, and they're honest about it. They don't try to don't really try to sensationalize it too much, I find. And they're just honest about that. There was something there that happened. They don't know what it was, and that's what they're there to tell. And they're there to tell the story of what they saw. So yeah. If you're in Shag Harbour area, I would recommend giving it a look. It's only $5. It's well worth it. So anyway, stay safe, everyone.